Fish gambling. What is it, and how did this Minecraft server become addicted to it? In this video, you'll learn all about fish gambling, how it works, along with the rise, fall, and resurgence of fish gambling on the Stoneworks Minecraft server. Part 1. Fish gambling. How does it work? The tropical fish bucket is the basis of all fish gambling. When you use a tropical fish bucket in water, you have a 90% chance to get one of 22 common fish or a 10% chance to get a randomly generated rare fish. The difference between rare fish and common fish is that rare fish are completely randomly generated from a pool of 2 shapes, 6 patterns, 15 base colors, and 15 pattern colors, instead of being preset like common fish. In total, there are 2,700 naturally occurring combinations of rare fish you can get whenever you open a tropical fish bucket. Furthermore, out of the 2,700 rare fish, 180 of these roll the same base color and pattern color. This is what is called a pure, as they are the same color throughout the entire fish. On average, out of every 150 tropical fish buckets, you can get one pure fish. The odds of this may not seem too bad at first, but looking at the background footage that's been playing during this entire segment, not a single pure fish has appeared. Now that we know how fish gambling works, it's time to go over the rise, fall, and resurgence of it on the Stoneworks Minecraft server. Part 2. The beginning and rise of fish gambling. Now, all fish gambling on Stoneworks can be traced back to one player, Worldwide, also known as Lefroy, but what got him to discover fish gambling in the first place is actually pretty funny. Now, Worldwide shared one key weakness with many of us, cuteness. Worldwide loved cute things, and he especially loved axolotls, arguably the cutest mob in Minecraft. But he had one issue. He had every color of axolotl other than pink. And, just like a suburban mom to Beanie Babies, he had to have them all. Now, getting axolotls is a lot more difficult in Stoneworks than it is in other Minecraft servers. The only two ways that you could get axolotls were through special admin events or from buying them using the /bucketfill command. At the time, using the bucketfill command was risky because it cost a massive $500,000 to run, and Worldwide thought he would get a completely random colored axolotl. But, seeing no other option to complete his precious collection, he took the risk and ran the command. And he won. He got the pink axolotl and was able to complete his collection. Now, funnily enough, the only color of axolotl you can get from using axolotl buckets is pink, but Worldwide didn't know that, and now a seed has been planted in his mind. Worldwide began looking at the other mobs that you could get using the bucketfill command: salmon, cod, pufferfish, and the most important one of all, tropical fish. Worldwide found that tropical fish buckets cost a lot less than axolotl buckets while still being a tiny bit pricey at 10,000 per. Knowing that there was essentially a built-in rarity system and therefore the possibility for a market, he contacted his friend Seeker. At the time, Seeker was a rich entrepreneur who liked both buying and selling rare items and objects. He really liked the idea, so he partnered up with his friend I Am a Human and created a Discord for the buying and selling of rare fish, known as the Rare Fish Guild. With the creation of this Discord and the mass propaganda spread by Human and Seeker, fish gambling became known to the wider public. Becoming a leisure activity among the rich and elite who were bored and wanted to collect this new funny item, poor people also wanted in to see if they could get lucky and get a valuable fish they could sell to the aforementioned collectors, since at the time pure fish, while still really hard to get, were worth up to $500,000 to the right person. During this time, everything was going great, and it's estimated that up to $500 million was spent on tropical fish buckets. However, this time was not meant to last, leading us into Part 3, the downfall. Now, very funnily, one of the things that led to the downfall of fish gambling was also one of the biggest parts of why it became so popular in the first place. On January 6, 2024, one of the server's owners, Stony Stoner, announced that the server's 2 worlds, Eldom and Rathnir, would be closed, and that the player bases of these 2 worlds were to be consolidated into one new, larger world, now known as Abexilus. It was said that players would be given limited vault slots so that they could transfer some of their items from Eldom and Rathnir over to Abexilus. And with fish gambling being discovered sometime around the end of February, players asked Stony if they would be allowed to transfer their fish over, and he said yes. Now, you couldn't transfer raw money over to the new world, but since you could transfer fish, players decided to use this as a method of transferring compact wealth, since, at the time, fish were still worth an extremely large amount of money. While vaults may have seemed like a blessing at the start, allowing for the fast and easy transportation of the very valuable rare fish, nobody stopped to ask the question, what if something happened to vaults? And very sadly, something did. You see, to make sure progression at the start of a Bexless wasn't unfair, access to vaults was going to be blocked until 1 to 2 months after the beginning of the world. And with the Bexless fully launching on April 13, 2024, you would expect this to happen sometime during May or June. However, this was not the case. And there was extra vault downtime. This extra downtime was not originally planned and happened due to many issues occurring with vaults, including vault data being wiped for several players, making all items stored in their vaults disappear. May, June, July, August, and most of September passed before players were finally able to access their vaults again on September 29th. During this extended period where vaults were not accessible by players, fish gambling was largely forgotten. Nobody wanted to spend money fish gambling that could be used on more important things like setting up nations or buying resources. Even when fish were finally retrievable from vaults, they arrived in a new world with a vastly different economy than what Ultimate Rathnir had. Fewer fish formerly worth 500,000 were now worth 50,000 or less, and people struggled to find buyers. However, since vaults opened nearly 2 months ago now, one player, Bogey95, has been working very hard to bring fish gambling back into the limelight, leading us into Part 4, the resurgence of fish gambling. Now, as I said in Part 3, fish gambling has been in a rough spot for a while, but since vaults reopened, one player, Bogey95, has been working to try and bring fish gambling back. Bogey95, also known as Bogey, is one of the richest and most influential players on Stoneworks. Along with this, they are also the most prolific fish gambler of all time on the server, spending over $50 million on the hobby. Bogey's largest effort to try and get fish gambling back into the server's favor was the introduction of fish bounties. Partnering with another influential player, Terrador, they made a new Fish Guild Discord server and have an active bounty board for rare fish they will pay money for. Bogey also has one private bounty for $100,000 on a pure brown fish, which is the only color of pure fish that has not yet been discovered by players. He hopes that guaranteed monetary incentives like these will drive more players back to fish gambling. Do you think that Bogey can revive fish gambling once the guilty pleasure of most of the Stoneworks community, or do you think it'll fall back into obscurity? In the end, only time can tell. If you're interested in playing on the server mentioned in this video, the IP is played@stoneworks.gg and the Discord is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.